But I'll just try to give a little bit about the season now is winter. So most people will have the cold and all these things. So I just want to give an overview about what is the flu. Because we take flu very lightly, but sometimes we need to know about the flu. After that, if you have any question, I'll try to answer. I don't know everything, but I'll try to answer as much as I know really. So basically, the flu usually happens during the winter season. And there's two different kinds of flu. One is called influenza A and B. The B is not that severe, it's the A which is really severe. Every year, the flu vaccine is different from the last year. Because depending on which strain caused what is called the epidemic, that means a lot of people suffer from that flu, that strain, or the pandemic, the flu, the whole world, which kind of flu. Depending on that, what kind of vaccine would be useful, they determine really. It's not that, like this year the vaccine that we have is not the same vaccine that we had last year. Or now the next year the vaccine would be not the same thing as this year. So it depends on which strain is coming as an epidemic, and then they make that vaccine to create. Now flu is a very simple thing. Almost everyone suffers from flu, and everyone knows I think what's called a flu. You have a high temperature, you have all the body ache, you have cough, runny nose, and all those things. Most of the flu cases are really not complicated. It's very simple. It comes, it stays for 2 to 3 days or 5 days and go away. Most of the cases. But flu could be dangerous. I think in the United States, flu is number 12 to cause the death. It's more than any other disease that causes the death. It's that bad sometimes. To prevent it, we need to get the vaccine, but the vaccine is not something that will completely protect you from the flu. If you get the vaccine, you may have flu, but the severity is not that high that can cause death. That's the only difference. Who can get the flu shot? If I'm wrong, just correct me anytime, okay? Who can get the flu shot? Anyone from 6 months to whatever the age is, doesn't matter. Everyone should get the flu shot from 6 months all the way to their whatever the age they are in. Because if you get the flu shot, you're not completely out of the flu risk, but if you have the flu, then it's not that dangerous to cause death. How it will cause death? How you know that the flu that you have is not a simple one? Because there's two types of flu. One is complicated, one is simple. The simple one will go away in 7 days. How you know that the flu is having the flu and that it's not really simple? If you contracted the flu, and then usually it's 3 or 4 days, it should go away. Like the fever will go away, your cough will go away, your runny nose will go away. But instead of that, it's getting progressively higher. It's not really getting better. So in that case, you should think that the flu virus may go to the lung and cause the pneumonia. So that's one of the signs of the pneumonia, that the fever, the symptoms are not getting better, it's progressively getting worse every day. If after 2 to 3 days, your fever, your runny nose, everything gets better, then again it spikes, the fever. After 2 days you're fine, and then again it spikes the fever. Then make sure that you don't have any bacterial infection, because what happens when there is a viral infection, flu is a virus. When there is a viral infection, that decreases the immunity, and that can cause the bacteria to cause the other infection. So that can cause the pneumonia, bacterial pneumonia. So these are the main things that can cause the death of a person really. A lot of people die because of the flu, pneumonia, or the bacterial pneumonia. So anyone who is between 6 months to whatever the age they are living, they should get the flu shot every year. Especially those people who have some other disease, like some kind of heart disease, or who has COPD, like the smokers. They have the chronic bronchitis. Like the people who has cancer, they're getting the chemotherapy and all those things. The people who has any kind of chronic disease, even the kidney disease, they should get the flu shot. The pregnant woman, they should get the flu shot. There was a fear that, when they're pregnant, if the flu shot is given, it might cause some harm to the baby. But on the other hand, it really helps. Because when you give the flu shot, it gives the antibody to fight against the flu, and that can pass to the newborn baby, and that lasts for about 3 or 4 months. So that means the time you cannot give the flu shot to a baby from born to 6 months, that mother's immunity goes to the child and then protects for the 4 months. So that, in other words, it's better to give the flu shot. So basically, why I wanted to say that, because this is the time for the flu, and a lot of us don't really bother to take the flu shot, because it's usually very simple, because fever, body ache, and then okay. But sometimes it could be very dangerous, so we need to get the flu shot. Adults usually comes with the fever, runny nose, cough, sore throat, all those things. But the kids might present in different way. The kids could have only diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, just like the gastroenteritis symptoms, with the fever. So they can have the flu with that too. So basically, my point is here that we should be proactive. We should get the flu shot. Take the flu shot, give your children the flu shot, and if anyone has any kind of disease, lung disease, heart disease, kidney disease, get the flu shot. That will help. There are 3 types of flu vaccine. One is the standard one, which is inactivated. They made the vaccine is the flu virus. They inactivate the virus. So what happened when that inactivated virus goes to the body creates an immunity against that. There was before the live virus. They usually can give, I think even last year, the year before, some people can get the flu from a vaccine through the nose, the spray. That was a live vaccine. That can really cause flu too. But they just take it off, this live vaccine this year, no more live vaccine. It's only the inactivated vaccine, so there is no chance that you will have the infection, but you will get immunity against the danger of flu. That's my point today, to encourage everyone to get the flu shot, you, your family, your children, and everyone. If anyone has any other question, you can ask or try to answer.
I have a question. You answered part of it in that sometimes they give antibiotics, but it's a virus, not a bacterial. So I guess that's why doctors give antibiotics, because to protect against the bacterial infection. What about that steroid pack? How does that help fight off when somebody does have the flu? How does that work?
That's a good question, really, because usually there is only 2 or 3 antivirals that acts against the flu. One of them is the Tamiflu, which mostly acts against flu A. And it acts more if you can give it within 48 hours. So, as I said, you remember that when the flu, if the fever is not coming down, is going higher and higher and higher, then we give the antibiotic, because we presume that there may be a bacterial infection that causing the main lung. Why steroid? Because the viral infection sometimes can cause severe inflammation in the lung. And steroid is anti-inflammatory. So it helps the inflammation to go away, so that it helps to increase the progress, the cure of the disease. So that's why we give the steroid, not because of the flu, but because it causes the inflammation of the lung.
Okay, thank you.
If somebody is suffering from fever or cold, and during this period, can he take the flu shot?
During the fever, you cannot take the flu shot.
No, we cannot take it. So what after,
If fever gone away, then you can take the flu shot.
Most of the time we have difficulty with that sore throat with the cold. How to prevent that?
You know, the sore
Without
throat,
antibiotic.
the sore throat is the common cold. Common cold doesn't need anything. You don't need to do anything. Just gargle, just do, it's normal. But if it has the fever, or you're coughing out something that changes the color, like greenish or yellowish, something like that, then you should be concerned. But just only the sore throat, don't worry about it.
We can't eat, it's bothers too much.
Yeah, that because you're coughing, you have the irritation, the swelling, so that's why you're going to eat. But it's not dangerous. Yes, sister?
What are the risks to taking a flu shot?
For the risk, basically there is no risk to it. Before we have that activated, the vaccine, that can cause the flu. But now the vaccines are all inactivated, so there is no risk of flu shot really. And in fact, what we used to say that now the flu can be dangerous to the pregnant mother, that can cause the problem to the newborn child, but it's wrong. In fact, that protect the pregnant children too. And how to protect yourself? You know, there is no statistical data that shows that when the flu virus is on the hard surfaces, it can come to you. But it really goes from one person to another person through their sneezing, their cough, and all these things. Because it goes in a big particle, like I think it's 5 micron. So that doesn't last in the ear too long. But if you cough within the 6 feet and you just inhale it, then you have a chance. The problem is, before the person started having the flu, that person can disseminate, can give the flu virus 24 to 48 hours before. Say I'm having the fever today, but I'm infected 2 days ago. So last 2 days, if I'm sneezing or coughing and someone around me, they can have that. Yes?
How about if you, in the season of the flu, you give yourself powder of vitamin C, increase it in your body, maybe to fight infection of this flu? Is that be good?
Vitamin C is protective. High dose vitamin C people usually use as herbal medication. That's fine. I don't have that much idea that really vitamin C can protect the flu. But vitamin C, of course, it's an anti-inflammatory thing.
You said what the vaccine is made from pork. They take it from pig.
Then you should answer that.
No, you should.
Because it's a serum. It's a serum really. It's not the flesh or not anything. It is a serum. So I don't know whether on a religious way it is haram or not. That you should tell me.
I just said it's just people they say I don't take vaccine because it's from pigs. That's what they say.
It's not always from pigs because they are not cultured. Just imagine how many pigs they can have to produce those millions and millions of vaccines. So that's not possible really. It's culture. It's cultured in the lab.
Yes, sir. I have 2 questions.
Yes, go ahead.
First one is what advice would you give to the people that they have flu to come to the masjid and to shake hands? What advice would you give them?
I would advise, if you really having those symptoms, like high fever, or coughing, or sneezing, you should not come. Because you can infect the other people who are not really sick. Shaking hand usually doesn't go unless say, someone sneezes or cough on the hand and then you touch it and then you touch your nose, it can go. So hand washing is very good technique to avoid the flu. But as I said, it doesn't really last. There's no complete data that shows that it lasts longer on a hard surface. But it's in the air. If I have a flu, if I sneeze or cough, in 6 feet area, it's there. So if anyone has fever, cough, I'll suggest not to come to the mosque or any gathering really, that you can infect others.
question is, noticed that a while back, the flu was like before I started taking the vaccine. And long time ago, it was like a week and the flu is over. But lately, it feels like forever. It takes a month for the flu to...
Yeah, to stop coughing.
Yeah,
stop
it takes
sneezing.
a
Yeah, it
long
seems to
time,
take
not
2
like-
3 weeks now. It's not like
Is
when
it?
we were younger, 3 4 days.
It's not, yeah, number one, we're not younger, we're getting older.
That's the reason.
No, not only that. Number two is, as I said, remember that the vaccine is different every year because every year the virus mutated. So it's a different kind of virus. When there is more mutation, they're more resistant. Sometimes it can go maybe several weeks to make you very weak and tired, not to feel not to do anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
There were a lot of debates among doctors that someone would disagree about most of them they say the flu shots can do more harm than the good because it has mercury. And there is no way out to remove that mercury from that ingredient that within the shot. And mercury can affect your brain and stuff like that. And I read about it, and I took it down to my kids for the last 3 years, including myself. And I went and I talked to a doctor, pediatricians, my kids. And I've been facing him. He used to give him the active one. And then I said, listen, I don't want to take it. From now on, I don't want to take a shot for my kids. And then at the end, he agreed with me. And he said, they don't need you. Don't give it to you.
As I say,
And my kids, to be honest with you, they used to take it, including myself, and we used to get cold. And after the last 3 years, we don't take no shots, and no, nothing.
that's good. But previously when you take, remember I said that this is the first year they stopped the activated one, the live one. Before the pediatrician, usually all the children, they gave the live vaccine, the active vaccine. So whenever you get the active vaccine, you'll have the reaction. You'll have the cold and all those things. Because that's the active flu shot. Regarding the marker, yes, it has some marker. Now, anyone of us did the CAT scan with the iodine, the contrast? How much iodine is there? How much contrast is there? It's too much. With one CAT scan, I think we can have our whole life flu vaccine. So there is a marker, but it should not cause that problem not to take it. As I said, most of the poor people will get rid of flu without any symptoms, without any problem. Most of us. But if it happens, it's deadly. Because what happened, we all know that there is no definite treatment for the virus. And if it goes to the mind and causes the flu pneumonia, influenza pneumonia, it's very hard to treat that. It's very hard to treat that. It's just for, I know a lot of physicians usually don't want to take this, and they don't advise to take this too. That's why this year Medicare is trying to make a rule that if you are working in hospital, any kind of hospital employee, you have to take the flu shot or you have to take the vacation for that winter time. Because you have seen a lot of people have used the mask and working, that will go away. Because either you take the flu shot or you take the vacation for the...
They have now filters for the nose. You see them?
The filter?
Yeah, filter nose.
Yeah.
They put filters in the thing.
But now Medicare is coming with this, that if you don't have the flu shot, then you cannot work in hospital. They have to take the off for this whole winter.
I want to have two questions because I'm old.
Me too.
First, what's the difference between the flu and influenza?
No difference.
No difference. And second, how I know if I have a flu or pneumonia?
The pneumonia, as I said, say you have the fever, you have cough, you have runny nose. Normally, it should go away in 3 to 4 days. In 4 days, it should come down really, the fever. If it continues, the fever, the runny nose, the cough, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, then we should think about that it could be a flu pneumonia, influenza pneumonia. After 2 days of your fever, runny nose and everything, it went down for 2 days, you're fine, 2-3 days. Then again the fever shoot up with the runny nose, cough. Then you should think that you may have some bacterial pneumonia. Huh?
How do they run away from God?
It's usually the season. It's 1 year, but it's usually to protect the season because flu will not come during the summer.
What about hot tea with honey and lemon? Old recipe.
I do the honey and lemon. Yeah. There is no harm in taking those things really. Those are herbal things. There's no harm to take those things. But
Oh, it's just a spoon of honey.
that's fine. If you're not diabetic, then it's fine. If you're diabetic, don't take it.
How about garlic? They say garlic is wonderful. It's the cure-all to everything.
I don't think there is anything that cures everything, but the garlic has a potential to lower your cholesterol. It lowers the cholesterol level. But I don't think it protects from everything. The garlic sometimes will the cholesterol.
All your friends too.
He loves your friends too, right?
Sorry, I have too many questions.
No, that's
Because every time I catch the cold from the mosque. Every time. I'm healthy, I come here, I have a friend, he shake my hand or he pray beside me. I try to pray far away, but sometimes he cough and he come beside me. What can I do? I stay beside him.
You're asking not to come
I
or you
can't
don't
come.
come. You're asking not to come or you don't come.
I can't.
Either way.
Try to
Because that's the only way flu can go from one person to another person.
Yes.
There's no other way.
Yes. And the other question is the over-counter medicine like NyQuil, Contact, it helps or it doesn't?
Say NyQuil.
Or you don't?
So say NyQuil. Read the ingredients on the side of the NyQuil. You will see that there is acetaminophen, which is nothing but the Tylenol. You'll see there is some pseudoephedrine, which you can find in any other cough medication too that helps the secretion of the nose and all those things. You'll see some dextromethorphan that will help not to cough. So NyQuil is nothing but all the combination of all those things. So these medications are all combination, nothing else.
But they don't cure it.
To take or not?
You know, you have fever, runny nose, symptomatically is good. But does it cure? No.
So it doesn't cure, it just relieves those symptoms so
It
you're
just
not
relieves the
suffering.
symptoms. It just suffering, yeah. Just relieve the symptoms. But it will cure? No. Even if you have the flu, you are taking the NyQuil every day, can it protect you from the flu pneumonia? No. Can it protect from the bacterial pneumonia? No. But it can give you some.
Okay, another question. My mother, she used to tell me, when you take a shower, bath, don't go out. You catch cold. Is it true or just myth? You come from hot weather to cold weather. If you catch cold,
If it's snowing, it's true. But if you live in Florida, that's not true.
I don't think so, but the thing is, changing of the weather, the temperature from very hot to very cold is very bad.
very bad.
Like say, for example, let me give an example. People in the north, when there's all of snow and everything, they can have the frostbite with the snow. So when we rewarm the frostbite, we don't rewarm the food. Because if we warm the food directly, then they may lose the food. So we warm the body so that it slowly can warm. So going to extreme hot and extreme cold at one time is not good.
but it has relation with the cold. Because some people say if you are in cold condition, air condition, and you go out, sometimes you get cold, or the temperature drop fast.
I think, brother, I think that's our age. Because you know, when I was young, when I was playing soccer, football back home, we used to love playing during the rainy time. Now if I've got rain, I got cold. So
They say it lowers the metabolism. If you go from heat out to cold, it lowers your metabolism. and that
it
makes
lowers
you more
everything.
susceptible.
Baby. It lowers everything. Like, I don't know whether you know about that, what we call, if you go to the hospital, you can hear sometimes we call code white. Code white means the person came, his heart is beating, but everything else is shut down, almost. Nothing else is working. What we do, we just put that body to completely cold. It's negative 37 degree. So keep them in negative 37 degree. You'll see a lot of IVs is going on with a lot of cold. Everything is cold. It's just going on. Negative 37 degree for 24 hours. Which, as you say, the metabolism, which protects the organs not to work. So there is no metabolism, nothing is working. Then we slowly rewarm over 24 hours. Slowly, so that they can come back. So extreme heat, extreme cold, we should not do. That can cause problem. Yes.
What about the allergy bacteria? Come from the cold.
Bacteria?
Algae. Allergy.
Algae or
Allergy.
allergy from bacteria?
Allergy bacteria.
Bacteria should not cause any kind of allergy. Because allergy is something that your body is hyperactive to something. It could be pollen, it could be dust, it could be anything. So what happens when you are allergic to something, if having the allergy symptoms, that lowers your immunity too. Bacteria can cause infection during that time. But bacteria should not cause the allergy.
But this has come from the cold, from the flu.
Flu lowers the immunity of our body. That's why the people who have low immunity, like the cancer patient who is taking the chemotherapy, they need to get the flu shot because their immunity is low. Their fighting power against the bacteria and others are low. So when flu is there, the virus is there, that lowers our body immunity, our body function to fight against the bacteria. That causes the infection. It's not the flu and bacteria. It lowers the immunity, that's why bacteria cause the infection. Yes, brother.
Quick question about sugar. You know, now in our diet, everything almost has to have sugar. Cereal, whatever. I mean, 50, 100 years ago, people were eating differently. I mean, very little honey over here, over there. But now, when I see my kids eating every day, or I go to Publix or Target or whatever, everything you're gonna buy, you have to look very hard to find something that doesn't have added sugar or extra sugar. Or what is your take on that?
Sugar is something. Sugar is is very addictive. If you or any child take the sugar, they will try to take one more sugar. It's very addictive. Like if someone like the Frosted Flakes, it will be very hard for him to get out of the Frosted Flakes channel. You cannot really take just the brand Raisin, maybe a cup, that's all. But Frosted Flakes, you can take 1 cup, 2 cups, because that really causes the addiction to sugar. So the only way to get out of the sugar addiction is try to cut it down, and then completely don't take the sugar.
But it's harmful, right?
Sugar is harmful in a sense, because it's addictive. It's called hyper, and it really changes the body's function, because what happens when sugar is there, then your pancreas has to work more to secrete the insulin to digest it. Your body metabolism needs to be more, otherwise that sugar will deposit as a fat. So all those things can happen.
So what's the difference between white sugar and brown sugar.